Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Vindy, everyone's favorite hungover rat, doing a chapter review jump stream. I have not that I don't have energy, I'm just hungover, and it's Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day as well. To everyone who's with their moms or has mom shit going on. So that's also I don't have as much time to do it on Sunday, so we're going quick, most likely. So I don't think I have much to say in terms of stuff before I get into it, because I don't have comments, because I didn't upload the last one. I also don't have a poll, so we could probably just get right into the chapters post haste. So. Why are you guys saying Happy Mother's Day to me? I'm not a mother. I don't need to be told Happy Mother's Day. Alright, I'm just going to get right into these chapters. I'm going to read One Piece now, so. Alright, I actually really enjoyed this chapter. I think, my favorite thing right now with One Piece, I think, is by far the Straw Hat interactions we're getting. Because it's been so long since we've seen these really, really good interactions between everyone. The fact that Luffy's I'm gonna go tell him the plan, and he clearly doesn't know what's going on, so he's gonna go make things worse. And Zoro's Luffy's an idiot, I'm gonna go help him, but he's Zoro, so he's not gonna find Luffy, is funny. And then the fact that everyone else is together, and just Sanji trying to get in the tank, and then the best part of the chapter is when Frankie tells Nico Robin she can get on the back of his motorcycle, and Brooke just hops on. It's let's go. There's nothing wrong with some male bonding. I'm yes, sir. You're a Chad. I also love Commander Chopper. He's funny. Jinbei is a sweet man. I love his line, I want to make myself useful for my first battle on the crew. It's not the time for them being so happy-go-lucky. I mean, I love it, but it's a war against two Yonko. No, because they're the Straw Hats, so I expect the Straw Hats to be big retards, because that's, the core of the Straw Hats. They're always just stupid. And so I just want, the Straw Hats share, one brain cell among all of them. And, generally, it's Jinbei's brain cell. So I don't want them to be smart. I want them to just be stupid and silly, because that's what they always do. They learn from their captain, and that's something that Luffy consistently does as well. And, I mean, you can look, constantly, the Straw Hats are just always interacting like that, right? They're always silly. That's, a common thing that they always have. So I don't know. I don't see Nami, Robin, Usopp, and Jinbei. Yeah, and then sometimes Robin doesn't have a brain cell, which is great. I love when she loses her brain cell and gives it to someone else. Sometimes Usopp or Nami will lose their brain cells. I love it. It's great. And then we get to see more of what are they? I don't even remember what they're called. So I'm retarded. The Horn People. And Kaido and stuff. And there's some first of all, King looks like a fucking Chad. He's super cool. I love his big wings and his big sword and his mask. Flying 6, thank you. Oh my goodness, Anime Movement Plus. Thank you for the
double Vondo with appreciation.
I appreciate it, man. But yeah, so I really like seeing those. There's some interesting stuff going on there. They're announcing the big, the Big Mom and Kaido alliance, which is kind of wild, because now it means that Luffy's going to for sure be fighting, their alliance. And there's going to be, I assume that the Straw Hats and everyone else in this plan will hear the announcement, and that's going to be when they realize, oh shit, we gotta fucking, actually do something, because, they have no idea that this is coming, and Kaido's just gonna walk out and be yeah, so me and Big Mom are friends now. What do they even do there? They're gonna shit their pants. And then he has a very important announcement after that involves his son. So I'm excited to see what that is. I'm not sure what it could be. I'm not smart enough, I feel, to speculate on it. But I think that there's definitely some exciting things. See, I'm terrible with names right now, and I'm retarded. But the member of Flying Six that has the cute girl, she wears like the what looks like the cloth mask because they all wear masks because they're doing their job to stop the spread of the coronavirus. Or she is. There's two of them that wear masks to stop the spread of the coronavirus. And the girl who wears the mask is great. I love her. She's super cute. Hello. And so, also, Ulti, thank you, Kraftstorf. I'm glad you understand. And then, yeah. So the Luffy moment at the end was really good because we see they spill food that, the normal people consider a commodity. And they're like, that shit sucks. No one likes that. But to them, that's like the most delicious food they've ever had in their lives. And we see Luffy get fucking pissed. What's going on? I feel like people are yelling at my house. I don't have to deal with that today, dude. But, like, I fucking love it because Luffy's going to beat some ass, and I am here for it. Because he's such a Chad, and he's definitely angry. He's going to beat the shit out of some people. So he's probably going to start riling shit up. Oh my god, Sanji would be an even angrier man. I didn't even think about it if it was Sanji. Yeah, because I love the times where Luffy will fight for others, because it's not common that he'll fight, like, I mean, he does, but not, like, I like when something happens and Luffy will get really mad, like, for someone else, like in Shibata when he punches the Celestial Dragon. And so, I always like moments like that, and so I'm sure that's what we'll get next chapter, and I'm very excited for it. Oh, I think would be interesting, and I know this isn't going to happen, but if Luffy showed restraint and stuck to the plan and didn't just beat the shit out of him, I think that would be, like, really, really interesting. But that's not what's going to happen because he's Luffy, right? Like, again, all the Straw Hats share, like, half a brain cell. So, we'll see. Do I think Toby Roppo have at least... Or do I think Toby Roppo, at least some of them have COC? Maybe? I'm not sure. Yeah, well, the next chapter isn't... won't the next chapter of One Piece be... No, he's taking more. No, next chapter's in 2 weeks. I mean, yeah, there's no chapter next week, but there's no jump at all next week, so it's okay, right? Oh! I didn't realize that they were going off double issue after this. Okay. I'm retarded. Well, that's okay. That's, then yeah, sad there's no One Piece next week, but, I mean, we know why Oda's taking more breaks, because he's worried about him and his staff's health with the coronavirus, so he's doing his job to kind of make it less of an issue. So, I mean, that's the best he can really do. That being said, I think that's most of what I have to say for One Piece this week. I don't have that much to say. I'm kind of brain dead when it comes to One Piece sometimes, especially in terms of, like, remembering all the details of the series, which is part of why I need to reread it so bad. So I don't have as much to say. But now I'm going to read Haikyuu, which is a goated manga that is fucking good. So I'm excited. All right, so this Haikyuu chapter was so good. I mean, I say that every time, but, like, it was, like, really good this week. Because, like, what I liked about it is we just got chapters about Mia, right? And now it's a chapter about Bokudo. And something I thought was kind of interesting is the way it starts with Mia talking to Bokudo as a way to lead us kind of in, like, it'd probably be really good if you binged it or, like, read it in a volume or maybe in the anime as well when it's all at one place, where it'll be this really nice transition of we go from Mia, now Mia talks to Bokudo, and we get a flashback of that. And then we go right into And then we go right into Bokudo, which is really, really cool. I really liked that, actually. And so, this chapter is about what it means to be the ace, right? What is Bokudo, or maybe not necessarily what it means to be the ace, but what does it mean to Bokudo to be the ace? And so you see a lot of stuff that is, like, really important to Bokudo. Like, what's interesting also is that Mia and him talk about it, and that, like, he can't just go emo Bokudo anymore, right? Even if he messes up, he still has to be at the top of his game. If he misses a spike, he can't just go emo and say he's not feeling it today and not do it. He has to do his best as the ace and as a star of the team to bring everyone else forward by continuously being good. And so this chapter is showing his growth since high school, essentially. Because we see he misses his line shot, and the Bokudo from high school would have been all emo and edgy and been like, oh, I fucking can't do anything. I suck. My life's over. But in reality, he's way better than that. now because he misses it and he's like, okay, well, next time I'll just go for a cross shot and I'll just hit that. And you can see he's like getting the crowd into it. He's getting his team to. He's getting them amped up in their own way. Like Hinata's just impressed with him, but you can see that Mia and Itachi Yamasetter, I can't remember his name, or Itachi Yama's ace, I'm sorry, are like tilted, right? They're like, oh, I gotta beat Bokuto. I can't let Bokuto beat me. Which is good because that's the kind of healthy competition that makes everyone play better. And then we see in high school the way that he, blames himself for losing when they lost close, right? It was 15-13 loss. So if Bokuto had scored there at the end, you assume they go to a deuce, and then it gets closer between Ichibayashi and Fukurodani. And it's great because we see, they talk about what it was, that how like Bokuto kept all of them going, even though he was a fucking pain to deal with. He's the reason that they were able to get as far as they could. And, then we see all of them now doing their jobs and living their lives, but getting together, watching Bokuto and supporting him, which is great. And I love that we get these rules of being an ace, right? It's the side of your back must be an inspiration to your teammates, and any and all walls are to be crushed, right? Which is like always things Bokuto's like kind of stood for, but this third rule of being an ace is so great because it's the development that Bokuto's had now as a character since we first saw him, where he used to go emo, now he's up against a wall, he does some crazy Chad shit, gets over it, and then number 3 is all balls are to be spiked with full strength and complete confidence, and that's so great because like Bokuto is just a better player and a better person than he was, right? He knows his job as the ace. And so he's not just getting emo and having to be saved by his setter. He's going for it, and he's doing his job. And we even see Akashi thinks back to one of the old problems Bokuto would have, where he could completely forget, say, how to do a cross serve, like a cross, if he's only been hitting straights. And now he can keep it all up, and he can remember everything because he's worked so hard as a player and developed so much. And so I really like the way this chapter shows that. And it was a great chapter for Bokuto to kind of like level off his character arc up to this point, which is really, really cool, and I really, really liked it. Especially considering Bokuto's not one of our main characters. He wasn't a Karasuno player. And so for him to get like this amount of development, I think is kind of staggering and really, really good. So that being said, that's it for Haikyuu. So now let's talk about My Hero Academia. Alright, time to read MHA, boys. What the fuck was that? Koei Origoshi, what the fuck did you just do to me? You, like, ruined my life with a fucking amazing chapter. Like, okay, so what I said is kind of definitely true, that, like, Shigaraki's just gonna wake up and beat the shit out of everyone, but there's some really, really cool stuff in the chapter. So first of all, we see that fucking Dr. Robotnik is the guy who gave All for One his agent quirk, which is really cool. And then, he's talking about what, he gave him the quirk and he keeps a copy. And then we see Shigaraki. And there's, like, this godly spread of, like, Shigaraki in a dream sequence with, like, these hands coming out. I don't know what the fuck Horikoshi took. I want some because he popped the fuck off. Like, we thought Chainsawman had some wild art recently. Chainsawman's got fucking nothing on this fucking spread. Like, oh my god. Insane. His father's only... Ooh, I should move towards One for All. Well, All for One, but yeah. Well, because it's cool because, he has his family, and what I like is that his family, like, he turns, as he talks to people, right, like, when he sees his mom and his mom talks to him, he turns back into a kid, but then his dad shows up, and he turns back into the battered kid he was, and then they all kind of turn into hands and chase him, which is, obviously symbolic, and we find out that now Shigaraki has fucking All for One, which is kind of fucking spooky because like now he's like insanely strong. Which I mean, on some level makes sense, right? Because we knew that there had to be some One for All or All for One shenanigans for the Nomus to exist, but now he's, they turn into hands and kind of chase him down, and we see Shigaraki's basically being revived. And it's what I liked a lot is that the chapter ends like Deku just standing there can like sense that Shigaraki is waking up, and I think Deku's gonna realize what's going on and be like, I'm the only guy who can really do something here. I gotta fucking go, because I definitely think Shigaraki, like, okay, Xless or whatever the fuck his name is, more like he lifeless because he's fucking dead. All right, like this man is done. Eraserhead probably dead. Fucking Miriko probably dead. Endeavor definitely dead. Like Shigaraki is about to fucking lay waste to the heroes here. This shit's gonna be rough to read. No matter what, his father is okay. Dr. Ichiko sure runs faster due with reduced physical mobility. I mean, he runs fast, but he gets his shit kicked in still. Do I root for the villains? No, I just think this chapter was cool as fuck. I guess that one page confirms which family member's hand was when he was wearing them on. Yeah, which is also really cool, right? Like you see, like his mom's hands are around his neck. His dad's hand was the one he kept around his face, which makes sense. Because, if you want to look at it, like his dad's the one who did a lot of damage to his face and gave him scars, so he wears his dad's hand to hide those scars. And as that's the face that like hurt him. I think it's really cool. I really, really like what's going on in this chapter. I think it's super cool. And I like that, he leaves the hands behind, right? Like, he's not going to wear the hands anymore because, like, very clearly, he decided to abandon the hands to become the villain he needs to be. Can we make a guess what will happen to the All for One quirk mixed with Shigaraki's oat will mutate into a quirk that destroys quirks? That would be cool. I mean, I don't think that's how that works because, like, the quirks don't mix in the same, like, he could probably do that, but I don't think that, like, they automatically mix. Like, he can still probably use his original quirk as intended and use One for All, or All for One, which is interesting, and I'm, like, really excited to see what happens now that he's awake. This chapter was great, though. Like, people who complain about Shigaraki, especially now, don't know what they're talking about, because he's fucking great. And what I love is that, like, now that Deku, because, he's very clearly Deku's foil in this story, and now, I mean, even they're both victims of abuse in different ways, right? Deku's dad is non-existent, and Shigaraki's dad beat the shit out of him. But, like, what's so cool, I think, is that Shigaraki now has multiple quirks and, like, is developing at the same point to where Deku is, where he's starting to get a, kind of grasp on his master's quirk, and now we're going to see some wild shit happening. When All for One gave the quirk to the first One for All user, One for All's quirk was a product of mutation between the two quirks mixing. Okay. See, because that's interesting, because, like, he takes, because, like, All for One, but I think the difference is, right, like, All for One changes things, because he takes other people's quirks, and it doesn't, like, mutate with his, right, like, he can still use his original quirk. So, I mean, we'll have to see how it happens. I think that would be interesting if he has the power to just destroy quirks. That would be fucking disgusting, but we'd have to see. I'm really curious now what's going to happen next chapter when he, like, lays waste to some people, because it's going to be gross. Shigaraki's dad did nothing wrong. Well, we're not going to address that on stream because yeah, but that's all I really have to say for MHA. Really, really fucking cool chapter. I'm really excited for what happens next. But let's move on to Black Clover. This chapter is pretty good. I enjoyed the fight. I like the idea again because Black Clover has a lot of these themes of your family and how you stack up compared to the rest of your family. I like the idea that he feels like he isn't he's not as strong, but whereas they might be amazingly talented, he has to constantly deal with that, right? So his tenacity and his ability to endure and keep pushing is what he's strong at. And so we see that, and he uses that to create a way to win the fight. And I really, really like that. I think that's like a fun kind of... Like, that's like a very Black Clover thing to happen. So I really, really enjoyed that that's obviously what it does. I mean, again, like, I'm starting to really enjoy this Black Clover arc. I'm starting to get into it. I'm curious to see how it develops at this point because, we've kind of had fights, but obviously there's stuff that, like, Asta has to do, and there's stuff that a bunch of other characters have to really come in and do their own, as well as we need to see which Black Bull's the traitor. So I'm really curious to see how a lot of this stuff plays out in this arc, but it's definitely starting to hook me, and I'm starting to enjoy it a lot. So that's that. After Black... So, and that's honestly all I have to say for Black Clover. I just don't have that much to say about it this week. Let's go on to Kimetsu no Yaiba, which I've actually heard good things about. I'm not sure how I feel, but we'll see. So, Kimetsu time. Um, I don't know what to say about this chapter because, like, this chapter was fucking weird, and then it tried to get real wild with me at the ending. But there was some stuff I still kind of liked in it, and there was some stuff I didn't like. So I'll talk about it. First of all, I think it's really nice. Like, legitimately, I think the best payoff throughout all of this series is the fact that we get to see Nezuko talk at the end and, like, actually be herself. Because that's something that we never really got to see, but we got glimpses of Nezuko's personality, I think, through flashbacks and just through Tanjiro. And so I think that finally being able to see Nezuko interact with people, Kimetsu no Yaiba, is really, really cool. Because that's something that, like, we've been almost waiting this entire series for, and now that we're finally getting this payoff of it is really nice. And what I like is, like, she is, like, yeah, she's girl Tanjiro, right? She has, like the best parts about Tanjiro, wherein he's just, like, kind to a level of autism that is, like, unseen before. And she's the same. She does, like, the same, like, expressions and poses that Tanjiro does. But I also like the way she's, she's also kind of good. Like, when she tells Tanjiro, if you apologize again, bitch, I'm flicking your forehead. I really like that. Tanjiro's blind eye looks fucking awkward and terrible, and it's uncomfy. Like, I don't like it. And I also don't like his wrinkled old man hand. It's like it's the opposite of the fucking baby hand from Deadpool. It's the fucking wrinkled old man hand. What do you mean autism? Autism, like the mental disorder that Tanjiro has, and I have, and everyone in chat has. So, that was fine. I actually liked the scene. So there was some stuff I liked in this chapter. I liked the scene of the Demon Slayer Corps being disbanded. I thought that was another scene that had, like, good payoff for everything we've been through. And seeing everyone come to, like, kind of congratulate Tanjiro was nice. Inosuke stealing food because he's a sweet boy is, like, my favorite thing I've ever seen. I fucking love him. And then I actually liked that the series ends with Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Tanjiro and Nezuko all going to live together. I think that's something that I didn't necessarily see coming from the start, but I think the fact that, like, that's the direction it goes in is, like, really actually kind of sweet. And, like, I also really liked the panel. No, there's one more chapter. Next week's last. Like, I love the panel of, like, them in the house, and it's just, like, laughter is filling it. Like, that panel in and of itself is really nice. And I like that they built, like, their own version of the graves to everyone that they pray at and just enjoy their lives together. I think it is fucking really, really good. And I actually really enjoy that. And I would say that in the last few weeks of Kimetsu, like, the last, like, 3 pages of this chapter were, like, my favorite part of the manga. And then we get to the last panel, and I'm a little worried because it's set in like the fucking like now we just see like modern Tokyo, and it's like, okay, what are you fucking doing, Gotoge? Like, what kind of bullshit are we playing at, right? I'm a little worried. I'm a lot of worried because I think there's potential for potentially like a Kino as fuck ending, and then there's also the chance that you could just screw it up and like go from like what was probably a decent chapter, like pretty good chapter. I think that like even if the fight wasn't good, the payoff that we get after it was really good in terms of this chapter. And like now that we're getting to the last chapter, like Gotoge, don't fuck shit up, dude. Like don't piss me off like this, because I'll be really sad. But I'm not gonna like shit talk the city yet because I don't know where it's going. It is intentionally, I think, a wild way to end the penultimate chapter, so that now everyone's gonna read the last chapter when it comes out, which is really, really smart of Gotoge. So I respect that shit. But yeah, so I have no fucking clue what's going on with that shit. But either way, that's all I really have to say for Kimetsu, because I just don't have much more to say. It's like, well, you know, it wasn't that great. It was enjoyable. There were things that I definitely enjoyed, but it wasn't like my favorite chapter. So we'll see. But that's Kimetsu. So next we talk about Promised Neverland, which I'm very excited to read. So this chapter went from being very happy and making me like feel all fuzzy inside to it fucking being something else, dude. So Phil is great, and I love seeing everyone see Phil because he's a young little fucking idiot boy, and I like he didn't even know Norman was alive, so you got to see that, and seeing everyone hug him was really great. Seeing the Isabella say that they're free and so they can just love them normally is great, and the spread of thanks to my friends you're able to come this far, and it shows everything that's happened the whole series. It shows people that are gone and people that have stayed. And then you go to the next page, and it's actually just Emma standing there with all the fucking people that died. Like, you're really just gonna do that to me? Like, my heart already can't take it. What's wrong with you? It's so insane how fucking good it was. Legitimately great. Like, actual, just fucking phenomenal manga. And then we see the leader of the farm come in, and he wants to kill everyone, and Emma's running to go try to save it. And we see Isabella jumped in the way and died. So I actually want to read this thing in chat. So I'd rather not have Isabella come back if she's just going to die. Her portrayal of the Ratchet is way too obvious. I think the message that despite her lifestyle, she cared for the children was clear enough back when she said she was proud and wanted them to live. Now there wasn't much payoff to her being back. See, but I really like the decision of her dying here, because I think what it's going for, right, is that, like, Isabella was someone who was doing whatever she could to stay alive and to fight to keep herself alive when because like by being alive and loving the children, like she would rather live than be forced to die because of the situation. But now she's the one who's choosing to die for the kids. Like that's the choice she's making, is that she'll die for the kids because now it's her choice, right? Now she's the one who makes the choices in her life. They're free. And, she even says earlier in the chapter, right? She says, let me find now we can just love them normally. And part of that is that she doesn't want to see them die. And so with her freedom and the fact that she can actually do that, she makes the choice to sacrifice herself for them. And I think that is really good, because that's something, we've seen a bunch of characters sacrifice themselves for other people. But what matters is that they're doing it of their choice, right? Like, they're free to make those choices for the people they love, and I think that, I liked it a lot. I really like that. That's like the direction it's going in. This chapter was so fucking good. I actually didn't expect Promised Neverland. Like, I was excited to read it. I didn't expect Promised Neverland to be like this fucking good this week. Like, that shit was fucking fire. Look. I sat here and I was like, oh, Kimetsu was kind of good. MHA was pretty good. Promised Neverland blew them like all out of the water. Like, that shit was so good. Those from fucking Kino. So I just really like Promised Neverland this week. Promised Neverland of maybe right now everything in Jump that isn't like a favorite of mine, right? So like One Piece or Haikyuu or even like MHA. I'm most excited to read when it finishes because like I want to just binge it all and just become a fucking big mess at like these chapters because I know it'll happen. So I'm excited for that. That being said, that's most of what I have to say for Promised Neverland. So now we have to talk about another manga that I wish I never could talk about. We're gonna talk about fucking We Can't Study. Look, I just don't care, okay? I don't see why I'm getting all this shit for this other girl, for Ogata's best friend in the Ogata route. It's like, I get what they're doing, but, like, I don't care because, like, you can't just, like, give me this arc about this other character and then have, like, Ogata say some things and, like, flash her tits at fucking Naryuki's like, oh, I kind of like you now. It's like, hello? I fucking hate this shit, dude. This manga is so bad. This shit makes me so angry. I don't even want to talk. Like, it's just not good. It's just not good anymore. Like, it legitimately just, like, why is Ogata's route all about her best friend? Which, okay, I guess you could make the argument that because she has this best friend that shows that she's better at connecting with people than she was at the start of the story, and so that the reason that she has a relationship like this shows her growth, and that's her character arc in and of itself, which would be fine, but there's still, like, you're not really saying that, like, it's just kind of there, and you're not really doing anything with it, which, like, at least the Uruka route had, like, these themes of, like, making sure you don't just like give up on things, and you even if something is going to be maybe not the smartest decision or the decision that's like the best for your future, you make that decision, and you can tie the Uruka route back to the main theme of We Can't Study, because that's what a lot of We Can't Study is about when you look at what Naruyuki's in college for and all these other things. That's very much, I think, what like I can't see a way to tie this into like We Can't Study central theme. And maybe that means it's not the central theme, but I can't even see like a theme here. I think this route exists to have the route, which doesn't surprise me at all. So it's just not good, and I really don't like it. So I mean, we'll see. Thankfully, once this route's done, Worst Girls route is over, and we have only Cute Girls left. So that'll be good. But I don't want to even read it ever again. The Ghost Lolly is a cop-out. It was an easy way to have things happen, and it didn't really do anything, and all the Ghost Lolly really existed for was to take people's clothes off, let's be honest. So I don't really have anything else to say about We Can't Study. I'm just going to go to Dr. Stone. First of all, I do have to mention that the fucking, I don't know what you call it, the cover art for this chapter is something else. And regresses me to a level much like the people in the Stone Age, except I'm more of a Neanderthal. Jesus Christ. So, one other thing I wanted to mention is, like, I love when he's holding the corn, how realistic the corn looks. Like, it might just be a drawing of corn or something, but it looks so fucking funny. I love it. And then, basically the chapter ends with them getting fucking gunned down, like the degenerates they are, which is fucking so funny. Like everyone in chat saying, oh, they come to America and immediately get fucking shot at, which is, first of all, just funny in and of itself. But I think my favorite part of the chapter is after that, just how cool people look. Like, Ryusui, when he, has his spread, looks so fucking cool. Okay? Like, he's actually the coolest man I've ever seen. And then Senku turns into, like, even cooler at the end, where he's like, oh, a showdown against an evil scientist. I don't lose there, dog. Like, what a fucking Chad, dude. I fucking love Senku. He's so cool, and he's such a fucking maniac. It's so great. I love him. He's actually such a fucking hero, dude. I'm so excited. The gun must be limited still since it didn't pierce the ship. I mean, we see what the gun looks like. Like, it's very clearly a very, like... The American seems to be smoking. A cigarette. You can see the filter. Like, that's just a cigarette. But... Yeah, it's so cool, dude. I love Senku's like smart boy fights with other scientists, so I really hope that's what's going on. I don't think it's gonna be that nefarious. Like, I think most likely what ends up happening is they realize that they want like that they aren't at odds with each other, and then they end up working together. But it is possible we get, you know, a mad scientist fight. Either way, I'm super into it. I hope it goes the friendship route, but I'd be cool as fuck with Senku having to outsmart a fucking machine gun. Like, that'd be so raw. Can you imagine? I'm super into it, so we'll see. That being said, that's most of what I have to say for Dr. Stone. I'm really excited for next week, though. But let's talk about Act Age. All right, so Act Age is something fucking else, I think, on like a certain level. Because, like, first, like, seeing Yonagi like understand what share water is meant for, and then mentally make herself go for a run in her mind to really appreciate the product is really interesting. And I like how honest she is with her ads. It's very much the Yonagi way to go about it, right? Which I think is interesting because, again, like it's like Arisa mentioned, like her goal is to fight as she is, which is why you can see that, like, on a certain level, Arisa will let Yonagi do what she wants, right? Like, she will let Yonagi not take deals if Yonagi doesn't like the product. Even when she is sitting there doing an ad for a chocolate and says other chocolate's not good, which is what you obviously shouldn't do, or other chocolate's better in certain instances, Arisa's like, she's fine the way she is. And I love what she mentions at the end of the chapter, where she's like, okay, well, originally I turned Yonagi away because I could see how dangerous her acting was. Even though I knew she wouldn't quit, I didn't want her here because I knew that this business would bring her pain and this art would hurt her. But Yonagi's reaching a point where you can't ignore her, right? Like, she's so big, you have to just look at her. And now she's going to take Yonagi and turn her into a star. I'm a little worried about Amachi because I don't trust this man, but I also trust Arisa. So I like it's funny to say trust, but like I don't like, obviously, you know, like I'm interested to see what happens because Amachi doesn't really care about like an actor's well-being, but Arisa very much cares about Yonagi's well-being. So I'm curious to see what they're necessarily going to be doing. And then I just loved the ending spread and seeing Yonagi everywhere, right? Like on all these billboards. And how they're going to make her famous is really, really cool. And one thing I like to see with how famous they're making her is I want to see how her friends from school react to her once she's everywhere and be like, Yonagi, you're so famous now, what the fuck? You know? And she's like, you know. Like, that's something I'd like to see. That's something I like seeing. Is just seeing her friends fucking lose their minds at how famous Yonagi is. So, that's that. Again, I really, really like Act Age. So that's all I have to say for this week's, though. Next is Jujutsu Kaisen, actually. This manga is so cool, and I'm very curious what's going on. So, first of all, Akutami's art fucking slaps. Every fucking week, this shit looks so cool. These fights are paneled so fucking well. And like I actually just like the way Akutami also writes fights, you know? I like Itadori going into the stall and closing it to then just kick through the fucking stall door and kick him in the face. Or he hits him with a fucking Hurricane Rana. Like, what the fuck? Like, this man's using wrestling moves on this guy. I also loved the that he's not using his left arm as a decoy to then whap him with it. Is really cool. And then Itadori just fucking dies, I guess. But like, what gets me is it says that at that moment a memory was inside his brain of a past event that never happened. So I'm starting to think that this is all a ruse, and he just thinks he killed Itadori. But like in reality, it was like the exact opposite or something. and that he's just like someone is using a power. Maybe Itadori is using a power. Someone's using this power that makes him think that he killed Itadori when he definitely didn't. Is I think what it's going for at the end there. So I want to see next chapter to see that happen because I think that would be cool as shit. Imagine like thinking you fucking murdered someone and then they show up and are like, "What up, bitch?" Like that'd fuck you up. So that's really cool. I really like this chapter. Like again, Akutami's art is so good, especially for fights. That it's just. I don't know if I would say there are many manga right now in Jump that I think do fights and like the fight choreography and everything, and the paneling and flow right now as well as Akutami does. Like there are some, but there are not many of them. Especially when you compare it to something like Guardian of the Witch or I would say like Mashle also. I would say Black Clover, I think. And I like Black Clover because, I'm not saying this is like a knock against Black Clover that's not as good as Jujutsu. I'm just saying Jujutsu is, I would say, is like legitimately that fucking good at it. That it does blow my mind sometimes, I think. But that's that for Jujutsu. I don't really have much more else to say. I can say one more thing. I do like that, like, this fight looks so cool because of the water flowing everywhere. There's, like, a bunch of effects, and it makes everything just, like, look super cool. And I really like that, like, aesthetic to the fight. But, because it's like a fight in heavy rain, but, like, more rain, and also they're in a bathroom. It's just really cool. Like, fucking madmen make manga, and Akutami's a fucking madman. So that's all I have to say for Jujutsu Kaisen. Next is Chainsawman. Okay, so there was a bunch of stuff in this chapter I really liked. I think this was just a good Chainsaw Man chapter. Like, I like Denji using the chainsaw, like, little feet things to run on walls. That's, like, a really cool thing. I really like the idea that, like, they're obviously people, but, she's like, just don't think about it, just, you have to get past that. And then ignorance is bliss, And then the darkness bitch turned, well, first of all, this bitch looks fucking terrifying in the spread, okay? I don't know what the fuck's going on there. But I love that, the crossbow person, like, she gets stabbed with her own people, right? Because they were turned into dolls and she couldn't hold up to what she was, like, listened to, right? Like, the idea was like, well, don't kill, you can just kill them because you tell yourself they're not real. But when it was her, like, subordinates, she couldn't do that. The Devil Hunters kind of work for the Primal Fear Devils. Since Eye Patch Lesman was the first Devil Hunter, she's the Bow Devil Hunter, which is the earliest weapon used by humans to kill. Since Dingy and Reese are newer devils, they're based on newer weapons like bombs and chainsaws. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That's really cool, too, to think about. And then, God, Dingy pours fucking gasoline over himself to turn on fire and screams, "This is the power of light," while attacking her. Okay. The levels of Chad energy that this man is on to just pour gasoline over himself to light himself on fire, I can't believe it. He's so cool. Like, the man is a fucking maniac and a lunatic. And, like, that's the most, like, Dingy thing of all time, right? That is Dingy using his chainsaw things instead of to use the blades and the chains to swing like Spider-Man, like what he was being told to do. Instead, he uses them as reins to control a shark man. This is the level of absurdity that Dingy, like, is always on. And it's so great. I am so here for it, dude. I love Dingy. Like, the man literally lights himself on fire. He's so cool. So, I love that. And I like that it works, too. Like, you fucking, cut her, like, in half, basically. Which is fucking so funny. I can't wait to see what happens after this. I want to see what happened to everyone else. Like, if Power died, I might riot, I think. Like, people might lose their lives if Power's dead. So we'll have to talk about that, Mr. Fujimoto. But I think we'll be fine. So I liked Chainsawman a lot this week, but that's all I have to say for that. So next is Mitama Security Spirit Busters. Look, I actually love Mitama so much. Like, this manga is getting so good. I like how Mitama has just been a joke these last few chapters. And, like, look at how fucking bugged out his eyes are. Like, this man's eyes are out of their sockets. And then, and, you know, like Dot's saying, like, it did sacrifice some of its humor. You know, it wasn't as funny of a chapter. But it was such a good chapter that, like, I don't even mind. Like, Mitama coming in and just, like, taking the beating and then laying out this guy in one punch. The fucking spread is so good. Like, it's actually a great spread. I fucking love it. Mitama was cool as fuck. And then I love that Jonka at the end is calling Mitama Master now, too. And crying and, like, hugging him. And then fucking what Funny Fish Man says of, we all know which big fish really saved the day. Like, there were still some good jokes in this chapter, but yeah, I mean, obviously, it sacrifices comedy for the serious thing I wanted to do about friendship and all that dumb bullshit that I love and that keeps me reading this magazine every week. So I definitely really enjoyed it. Legitimately actually really enjoyed Mitama this week. And I think that's due to the fact that, like, I'll take a chapter like this now because I like these characters, so I enjoy seeing Mitama be a Chad, as well as I enjoy seeing Mitama be the butt of the joke and want to kill himself. Like, both of those are really fun. I mean, obviously, I'd like if next chapter was just a funny gag chapter, but that was, like, a really, really fun chapter. So that's how that is. Don't get me worried about Mashle. Don't do that to me yet. Okay. But that being said, that's all I have to say for Mitama this week. I liked it a lot. It was a really, really good chapter. So now let's talk about Mission Yozakura Family. I like this manga so much. I, like, legitimately don't want this manga to get canceled because it's so fucking fun. I actually love it. Okay, so let's talk about it. I think both Taiyo and Mutsumi had, like, legitimate great moments this week, both, like, comedically and, like, actual good shit. So, like, first of all, Mutsumi's just super cute. I love her Taiyo headband and her Taiyo little, like, thingy she's waving. I love how much she supports him. It's so cute. I love it. I loved the joke where Kyoichiro's like, if you fucking bring shame to our family name, I'll kill you. And Taiyo just says it. It, like, you know, kind of, like, dismisses what he's saying, and it goes, and it just takes off because he knows Kyoichiro's gonna chase him. It's so funny. I love that this gay guy who's, like, super gay for Taiyo is so funny. I love that he's like, I mean, you know, they mentioned that him and Kyoichiro are always tied as the top creepy spy men. And I loved that, like, he has this keychain made of Taiyo's shit. And there's a really funny joke where, Mutsumi just tells him, please stop trying to seduce my spouse. It's so funny. I don't know, I just really find that joke good. Like, she's just so serious about it. And then Taiyo's, like, a good Chad man who helps out, what's his name? Oh my god, I gotta reread his name because I'm retarded. Tsukio. Hoshifuru. He, like, saves Hoshifuru because, like, you know, I'm gonna be a good man. And because of that, he passes the test, right? Because what they're looking for is humanity is the most important quality for a spy and for the association. And so by saving someone who had helped him so much, he passed, whereas he would have failed if he had tried to keep going, which I really liked. And then, like, I like at the end, he's still just carrying Taiyo while giving him it. And Tao's like, wait, no, put me down. And Mutsumi's just there like, congratulations, Taiyo, you did it. Like, her face is so good. I like this manga a lot. And I legitimately think, like, the biggest part of the reason why I like this manga so much is because I love Taiyo and Mutsumi. They're so great. That's a good point, Weird Bros. Now that Taiyo's a real spy, maybe we'll get a real arc. I mean, we can hope, right? Because I want to see what this manga can do in like a long arc. I think again, like what matters is it getting canceled soon? If it's not, then I would love a big arc here. I would love, because like I've been thinking about it like with other things, right? Like this series could very easily do like an arc in the same vein as like what Bleach does, or what like Bleach, or what's the other one I'm trying to... Oh, or like One Piece does, right? Where the entire Yozakura family is doing a mission, and everyone gets a fight, right? Like Taiyo gets the main fight, but Kyoichiro gets a fight, and Nanao gets a fight, and like all the members do something for the spy mission, and they all get their time to shine in their development, as well as Taiyo and Mutsumi, which would be fucking great. I would love that, because so far, you know, it's only ever been pairings, or maybe 3 at a time. I would love an arc that's everyone working together over like this long period of time, right? Like imagine this like 50, 60 chapter arc where they all get fights, they all get development. That could be really, really, really cool. So that being said, that's most what I have to say for Mission Yozakura Family this week. I really, really liked the chapter. But now it's time for a Gravity Boys. Alright, so this was, I think, by far the best A Gravity Boys chapter. I don't think it's even close. First of all, Chris is just, like, actually super cute in this chapter. Oh my god, Mega Graphics, you're right. On the same week, no less. Like, Chris blushed a lot and had really good faces. The, like, cover page was really, really good. There were some like good jokes, so I'll just directly mention the jokes that I actually liked that got me to laugh in this chapter, because it's funny because people who watch the stream and see my reactions, they don't know what I'm laughing at. They just see me laugh, right? Like I don't explain the jokes, so I'll say the jokes that made me laugh. I thought it was funny when she was doing her first broadcast, a lot of the faces she was making, and the fact that like it did the whole like, oh, she got too close, it was like, you know, showing her cleavage, but it's a guy, so there isn't cleavage. I thought was like funny. And I love how after the first stream, where, like, Chris kind of, like, because the thing that made me laugh about it was very much like a cam girl stream, right? Like, it just was what you get from a cam girl. Which is really funny. And I love that it ends, and fucking, like, Saga, Baba, and, oh my god, what's his name? It's not Grizzly, it's, Gerald. Holy shit, I got their names right. Saga, Baba, and Gerald were, they were, they're like, have you streamed for a living before? Because they fucking seen that. Like, it's funny. And then, you know, so that joke I thought was funny. I love the joke of, I think it's Grizzly, but I'm not sure, where he fucking, he goes to look for cam girls, and he sees Chris, and his clothes just burst off of him. I didn't laugh at this, but I did think it was funny, like, the three of them, like, you know, treating it very professionally. They're, like, talking and doing all the lighting and shit. I thought was funny. And then I liked the joke leading up to the maid outfit, the way that, like, they get her the maid outfit and hand it to her, and you see, like, progressively the text gets bigger and the screaming of everyone watching gets louder, to the point where Chris decides to put the maid outfit on, and everyone, like, collectively loses their minds at how like, whatever, turned on they are. Is super, super funny. So that was good. It's a little, I mean, the one thing I will also say, actually, is that, like, I'm glad that this was a one-off chapter, because the live streamer thing would have gotten really old really fast. So it's good it only lasted one chapter, because the joke is just making fun of cam girls, right? So it lasted the right length of time, didn't go too long, and I enjoyed it. I don't know, I think this was, like, by far the funniest chapter of A Gravity Boys. Like, not even, like, I've only laughed one other time at this manga, and I think I laughed 4 times reading this chapter. Like, it's insane how actually funny this chapter was. And I don't know why, and it kind of upsets me that this chapter was so good and that I have to come here and for once in my life, like, sit down and legitimately praise Agravity Boys, because there was nothing in this chapter I like that pissed me off or made me want to kill myself. And there was a lot that I thought was, like, legitimately funny manga. And that makes me mad. Like, now I'm getting angry that I actually have to praise this fucking manga. But what a world we live in. Like, maybe because he's doing nothing else because of the virus, he's just staying at home and is able to create a funny Trap Boy chapter. I don't know. But, yeah. So, next is... Wow, Vinny, did you just call a hardworking woman of the just chatting section cam girls? Yeah, I did. I don't have anything against them. I mean, I'm a cam boy. I'm a boy on a webcam. I don't think there's anything wrong with, being a woman and having people pay you money because they think you're attractive and they simp. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, one of my favorite clips that's ever come from Twitch is that one where that girl's like, if you have the time to sit here and watch my stream, you have the $5 to sub to me, and if you don't have those $5, don't sub or don't watch. Like, that shit's so funny. Because, like, whatever, they can tell me it's a joke, but, like, she was delusional, okay? Like, that shit's funny. Stop calling me a simp. I don't watch cam girls. I just don't care. Like, you do your hustle, make your money. I really don't give a shit. I don't think it's ruining Twitch. Because, like, at the end of the day, horny 13-year-olds are going to go watch a cam girl, aren't going to come watch my fat fucking ugly ass play fucking, like, Valorant or some shit. Like, they don't, like, there's no crossover, right? I don't, like, no real, like, streamer playing video games loses viewers to a girl streamer streaming themselves. Oh my god, Dot. Alright, that being said, that's all I have to say for Agravity Boys, so now I'm going to read Undead Unluck. It was a good chapter. There was some stuff I liked. I like Shin's power. I think it's really, really cool. What is it? What was it called? It was called Untruth, right? Pretty cool. The worst part of the chapter is the fact that he has Nyoibo, and, like, this fucking dumb bitch goes, it's Nyoibo, the staff, it's the Nyoibo staff, the one from Journey to the West. Why don't you just say the one from Dragon Ball? I know originally it's from Journey to the West, but, like, you could just say the one from Dragon Ball, and everyone would be like, oh, yeah. Obviously, that's not a real problem I have with the chapter. It's a joke. But I also loved when Andy was just walking, and the ground just opened up beneath him. It was, like, really funny. I liked him grabbing her stomach. He's like, well, it's all out. Like, everyone knows Dragon Ball, please. That was funny. I like the idea of going into space. Like, that shit's going to be awesome. So I'm super pumped for next week in space. It's going to be Kino as fuck because this man is Chadley as fuck. So that's how that goes. But yeah, that being said, that's really most of what I have to say for Undead Unluck. I did enjoy it, but I don't know. I just don't have much else to say. But Mashle time. So Shin's... Oh. Okay. Actually, back to Undead Unluck really quickly because I want to bring that up. That's a really good point. AAA says if Shin's power is untruth, I guess he can have some ulterior motives. I think there's something really interesting there, which is like, if his thing is untruth, right? Does that mean he's lying all the time? And it is does he also never tell the truth? Which is then really interesting if everything he says is like a lie. I think the way his power works, at least my understanding of it, is like, if you think something, you do the opposite, right? So, like, if I think, like, oh, I'm going to walk forwards, right? You end up walking backwards. So, I mean, it's impossible to think in a fight or even really fight, right? You'd have to just fight purely on instinct. So, that's kind of how that goes, I think. But I'm not too sure. That being said, let's move on to Mashle Not For Real. How is Mashle, like, fucking amazing in 14 chapters? Like, we are on chapter 14 of this manga, okay? Like, let's look at some other manga, all right, really quickly. Like, because I legitimately, like, want to prove a point here. Okay. So, in chapter 14 of One Piece, for example, right? What's going on here? Chapter 14 of One Piece. What's going on? This is when they're fighting Buggy. Like, Buggy's in the chapter. We see Nami. There's some good art here. Yeah. Chapter 14 of One... God, Oda's art has changed so much. Just looking at this, it's insane. Yeah, I mean, very early on. Not that I'm saying it's bad, but, like, let's look at Chapter 14 of My Hero Academia. That's a series I fucking love. Chapter 14 of MHA is... Wait. Okay, Chapter 14 is when villains show up at UA. Or at, like, the training facility. It's, like, when they first show up, and nothing really happens. So, the fact that Mashle is already this fucking good at chapter 14 legitimately blows my fucking mind. Like, I actually can't believe it, I think. Okay. That being said, let's talk about what the fuck this chapter did. So, there was so much good shit in it, it's kind of insane. Like, I love one small touch. Before we talk about how Mashle is the biggest Chad in Shonen Jump right now, because he's pissed off. I love that red hair boy singed his robes. Like, he actually is still trying, even though he's dead. He's still trying his best. Or no. Okay, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. He singed his robes while they were fighting, so he barely touched him. So I misunderstood what's going on. And then we see Mashle. Okay. Who takes a hit and then punches him in the fucking face, which was so great. Like, the first punch was great. And then we get the spread of the second punch, which is so fucking good. It's unreal. Like, Mash looks so cool. The art is, like, there's little things, right? So I'm going to talk about the spread for a second. It's little things. It's the way this rock up here in the front is out of focus. It's the fact that you can see, like, rocks are out of focus. Some are more in focus, right? How detailed these are. Even, like, when you look at the poses, like, on MASH and the guy's punching, like, it looks fucking good. Fucking great spread, like, legitimately. And just, like, with the timing of it, where we see, like, the big rocks come in and you just page turn to this spread of him getting punched. Phenomenal. And I love that, like, Mash just takes it, and, like, literally this guy is bleeding out of his mouth because he got hit so hard. Mash just fucking sits down and is like, all right, you've hit me twice. Hit me 8 more times. Like, he's so cool, dude. I actually love Mash because, like, he's so good at going from this, like, stupid, silly boy who just wants to talk about cream puffs to this, like, fucking badass, like, Giga Chad who fucking beats the shit out of people and is competing with people in a magic school with just his muscles. It's so fucking good. I, like, actually can't handle it. I love it. Yeah, that's all I have to say for Mashle. I fucking loved that chapter. That was a fucking great chapter. But next, let's read... what's next? Guardian of the Witch. I'm not yelling anymore. Guardian of the Witch was okay. We get to see the one cute witch without clothes on, which I liked. I mentioned it on the stream. I liked I liked Manafasa covering his eyes as they were standing there. I thought that was, like, a cute little touch. I think that like, the Talk no Jutsu is nice. Like, I like Talk no Jutsu anytime it happens. I like the idea that the witches just want to be normal girls, and that Fafner's treating them like a normal girl, and now because Manafasa's been treated like a normal girl, she's treating other witches like normal girls too. I think it is, like, really, really good. And then I like the idea at the end of, I actually really like the page where she's saying, if I turn my back now on a witch I want to save, then this whole journey of ours was meaningless from the beginning. I actually think the art there is, like, really, really nice. I always like when you get like not spreads, but like pages that are just like one big panel of like a close up of a character's face. I think it's something that's not done too often, but like when you get to see them drawn with that much detail put into them, I think it's a lot of times like really, really nice. So I enjoyed that a lot. I think like, I just like that interaction between her and Fafnir. I think my biggest problem though with this manga at the end of the day is just that like, I ultimately it's just kind of mid. Even though I think there are things in here that like up to this point like I enjoy, and I think there are things that like are fine. The series hasn't done anything to like blow me away or take it to that next level in my opinion. So that's like my biggest problem with Guardian of the Witch up to this point is that like it's mid, right? Yeah, I would say yeah, it's charming, right? Like I think there are things that Guardian of the Witch does. Again, like I think the series has potential. I thought the series had potential 2 chapters in. I just don't think it's doing anything really with it yet. And I think that because of that, it's kind of starting to stagnate a little bit more than other manga have, especially when you compare it to Mashle and Undead Unluck, where they're at these points where they're really starting to hit their stride and really starting to become these fucking great manga. Guardian of the Witch kind of isn't doing that for me at all, and I think that that's its biggest issue, I think, by far right now. So, it makes me sad because, I would have liked if Guardian of the Witch was better. At the rate it's going, I definitely see it getting canned. I still worry about Mashle getting canned. Undead Unluck's definitely staying for now. So we'll have to see. But I just don't have that big thoughts on it. That being said, that's all I have to say for Guardian of the Witch. So let's move on to Moriking. And she throws boys. Yes. Okay. Shoko's great. That's the first thing we gotta say. She has like 3 fucking amazing reaction faces this fucking chapter. I love them. They're so funny. I loved the joke of her little brother having Moriking on the leash. As well as like Moriking wearing the beanie to hide his crown because, well, I don't want people to know I'm king. But he still has like the big horn. Was also really funny. I also like the joke where he's like, this is my duty. I don't know, something about that panel just made me laugh. As well as him crying when she told him he couldn't help people anymore. I thought was good. And then Shoko screamed about her friends and then turned into a tsundere at the end of the chapter. So, like, I don't know what people expect from me, but she's great. She's, like, so good. It's unreal. So... yeah, that's all I have to say for Moriking, because I really like the girl. Like, I mean, I have nothing else really to say. Like, there are some good jokes, I still think. I think some of the insect jokes are funny. Her reaction faces were fucking Kino this chapter, but that's most of what I have to say about Moriking. Just because I don't know. I enjoy it. I think so far it's doing fine. I think in 3 chapters, like, it's better than, like, Mitama was in its first 3 chapters as a comedy. Like, it's making me laugh more. And I think, like, it's definitely better than, like, Gravity Boys in its first 3 chapters. It's no Mashle. And I don't see it being as funny as, like, Mitama is now. But we'll have to see. But now we get to talk about Bone Collection, because I don't have anything else to say about Moriking. So here's like the transition, and then I'm really quickly before I read the chapter. I do want to say, because I didn't upload to YouTube last week, so maybe not everyone saw me talk about Bone Collection. I really liked the first chapter. I was really impressed by a lot of the art. I thought the writing was pretty good. It very quickly endeared me to the main character. So I haven't read chapter 2 yet, so I'm not sure how to feel. But after just chapter 1, I'm very much into it. I think there's like 2 cute girls. I want to see where the series goes. And it won me over in chapter 1, so reading chapter 2, I'm really curious to see what happens from there. So, unsurprisingly, I loved the first chapter, and I loved the second chapter too. There was a lot in this chapter. It was the longest fuck chapter too. It was like actually like 25 pages, which is like way longer than I would have thought. But there's a lot to talk about in this chapter, because there was a lot I really liked. So, this girl, this Bone Queen, she's so fucking cute, dude. Like, she's so cute. She's pouting all the time. She's taking her clothes off. Like everything she says this chapter is great. Like I love when she like the panel where she like grabs his phone and throws it out the window. Great. I love when the dad's trying to punch her because first when he's like grabbing his son and he's pulling him. And she's like, that beard is disgusting, unsanitary. Don't touch him with those hands. He'll grow a rat tail too. Is trying to punch him, and she's like, your attacks don't reach me, weakling. Is great. I also should have mentioned I love her goal to become human, and that for her to become a human, he has to use all of her power. I think it's kind of interesting. And for people that were at the stream last time, we even see more of what I was talking about, where I think that what's going to end up happening is we get this idea of him becoming friends with these yokai and using these yokai in positive ways. We see more of that, right? Like they wrote a yokai to go save Rina, which is cool. I like there was one joke with the main character I loved where he's weighing the options in his mind, and let me try to find it really quickly because it was so funny. He's weighing them in his mind, and it's like risk of death or boobs, and boobs wins is super funny. And then obviously the brother is funny because he gets caught. The panel where he's like yelling at him, "Don't play dumb," and it's like drawn to make him look like retards is really funny as well. And then she rips his clothes off. He's in like a school swimsuit, which is kind of sus, but it was funny. And it moves things forward. So Bone Collection, I definitely really, really did enjoy. It's probably right now, I would say, the manga that I'm most like excited about. That's like newer than like I guess maybe not newer than Mashle, but like I don't see the other new manga we're getting, like the Moriking Bone Collection, whatever one, being better than Bone Collection. I actually really hope the Bone Collection gets positive reception and stays, because at least up through now, I'm like really, really enjoying it. It's already gotten me hooked on it. I already care about a lot of the characters, so we'll see. I'm not sure, but hopefully it's he continues. Time Paradox Writer. Is that the next one? I mean, it could be good. I'm always excited for new manga, but Bone Collection is something that I'm really, really enjoying so far. As far as I know, I'm the only person that enjoys it as much as I do, but I really, really like it. So far, it seems like very much my kind of series. So that's that. That being said, I'm gonna move into the like weekly award thing, and then we're gonna call it for this stream, because it's been a little bit too long already and I have other things I have to do still today. But now for the weekly awards. So my three favorite chapters are in this order. Number 3 was Haikyuu. I thought it was a great chapter. There was some stuff I really liked, and I just love Bokudo. Number 2 is Promised Neverland, because I thought Promised Neverland this week was like fucking great, like mind-blowingly good. And then number 1 is just Mashle. Like Mashle was so good that it's unreal. I mean, I will give like credit to a bunch of other ones that I thought were really good. I thought One Piece was very good. MHA was super good. Agravity Boys again good. Mitama good. Undead Unluck was good. Dr. Stone was good. There were a bunch of good manga this week. But those are my top 3. And then if you thought Spread of the Week was going to go to anything other than the spread from Mashle, you're trolling. Because this fucking spread is so good and so Chadley, it's unreal. Like, I don't think anything beat Mashle this week, if just for this spread. So, yeah, that's my awards for this week. I'm sorry. I feel like this one's probably going to end up being a little bit shorter. I had to kind of rush through some of it. Again, I'm recording this on Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all y'all. I hope you respect your mothers. I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you enjoyed the stream. There should be more videos coming out this week. For what example, Crafts and I are starting our One Piece movie podcast, where we're going to be watching all the One Piece movies. We're starting with the first one. So if you want to be a part, or if you want to watch along with us, that'll be out on like Friday, I think. So you can start watching the One Piece movies if you're curious. There's a little heads up for that. But either way, if you want to see more of me, obviously subscribe to my channel. I've been putting out a lot more videos, trying to make more content. You can always follow me on Twitch. I stream games, and I do these jump streams. And I think the jump streams are really fun. I really enjoy doing these every time I do them. It's like a fun way. We hang out. We have a good time for a couple hours, talk about jump. So that's always fun. You can always subscribe to the Weeb Club. Holy shit, I can't talk. And what if you want to hear more of me talking about things, and follow me on Twitter. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all later.